We're in the salon and the weather outside has turned a lot colder, so we've decided that the next best thing to do in the house is to insulate the ceiling and put the ceiling back up. I'm using 200mm of rockwool insulation between the joists, and I've had to knock down the plaster from underneath the fire hearth in the room above. I made a small contained area to keep the dust down. Did that yesterday, and I've got half the insulation up, and I'm now about to board it out using the trusty plasterboard lift. So that's the ceiling in the main salon is now insulated and boarded out. The next job, of course, is to tape over the joints and fill it in with jointing compound. But already this has made the room a lot nicer to be in and warmer. So that's all the ceiling taped over and jointing compound applied for the first time. I think you probably saw that I was using the self-adhesive mesh tape. I find that's easier to use on a ceiling than the paper stuff. So we'll let that go off for 24 hours and then apply the second coat tomorrow. As you can tell by the floor, I'm back in the salon, and today I'm going to be sanding for the final time the ceiling in here. It has been filled 3 times, and the next job is to sand it flat and then put the coving up. I'm going to use the same coving as I have elsewhere in the house. Yeah, quite like that. I know the sanding doesn't make too much dust because of the vacuum unit I put on it, but just in case, everything that is not too hard or that everything that is too heavy to move out of the room has been covered in plastic or sealed up. All the boxes are sealed across the top, so there's no dust going to get in any of them. I did sand this yesterday and put the third layer of compound on the joints, so I know that it shouldn't get too dusty, and this should be the last lot of sanding I have to do for this ceiling. So let's see how I get on. Okay, so that's the ceiling sanded. It didn't take too long. It does make your arm ache doing a tall ceiling. Much rather it not be quite so tall, but it is what it is, and it's now nicely ready to put some coving up. But before that, I have this nice big ceiling rose to go up around where the light is. So the first thing to do is cut a hole in the middle for where the cable comes through and where the light hangs from the ceiling. Easy enough. Just applying some coving adhesive to the flat surfaces of the ceiling rose where it's going to actually touch on the ceiling, and these are the parts that will actually stick. Should be plenty. Make sure the hook is in the middle of the hole. And it is push firmly onto the ceiling. So that's the ceiling rose up, and with the help of a little bracket I've rehung the light, and I've now made a start on putting some of the coving around the room. Okay, so the ceiling has had a coat of sealer on it, which is really just very watered down plaster, followed by a couple of coats of white emulsion. And I think it's come up quite well. The ceiling rose, that's come up really nicely and looks quite nice in here now with the light hanging underneath it. The coving with the detail across the bottom of that has ended up looking quite nice as well. I've still got to paint this piece of wood that goes round the opening of the bay part, and the next job to tackle is going to be this window so we can get some curtains up. Don't really want to put curtains up with the flaky paint at the moment, so that's going to be a job for today, I think, get that sorted. But yeah, the ceiling is done and it's much nicer in here in the evenings now. Here in the bathroom I've done a few odd jobs. I've boarded over the wall that I'd insulated previously with water resistant board. The ceiling, because I'm going to be putting pipes through the ceiling from the bathroom above and then dropping the ceiling down, for now what I've done is put insulation in and then put a plastic sheet over it or under it, just to stop any bits coming down. It makes it a little bit warmer in here. And just to neaten it off, I've also put some cushion vinyl on the floor to make it a little bit warmer and nicer to walk on as well.